verse 1 to 6, in the experience of the burning bush, also we see God being represented as an angel. So an angel could be a donkey, for example, because a donkey was a messenger to Balaam. You remember? An angel could be a prophet, or even the stones, because the stones can cry out. So basically, an angel means messenger. It does not mean something with wings and flying, the way we think. No, an angel is just a messenger. So this mighty angel, if it's a mighty angel, it's a mighty messenger. And so a mighty messenger must necessarily bring forth a mighty message. But we probably ask ourselves, what is this? What are the contents of this mighty message? There are a couple of things that are here. Let's read Revelation 1:13 to 16 and see a couple of things and see the description of the angel, how it matches up with Revelation 1:13 to 16. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. He had his head and his hairs were like white wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. So here, Christ himself is described, and his face is like white as wool, and we see his face is also like the sun shining in his strength. We also see him. His voice is as the sound of many waters, and also his feet are like burning fire. In the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 14 to 16, we see when Christ comes, he comes clothed. He's seated upon a cloud. In Revelation chapter 1, verse 7, it says, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, even those who pierced him." In Psalm chapter 104, verse 3, God makes the clouds his chariots. And in what does a rainbow? Where do we see a rainbow? I think one of the first places you see the rainbow mentioned is Revelation chapter 4, verse 3, where the rainbow is surrounding God's throne. And it represented the covenant of God and expressed God's mercy, especially during the end of the flood, when God says that, I'll put that rainbow so that you can remember, as Pastor Safile said. And so a rainbow is seen in God's throne. And then the verse that we've been talking about, Matthew chapter 17, the transfiguration, where Christ's face shone as the sun. And in Revelation chapter 1, verse 16, we also see the face of Christ like the sun. In Revelation chapter 5, verse 5, there's a place there that it says that John says that, "And I wept much because no one could open the book and look therein." That is the book that was sealed with 7 seals. And he said there's an angel that came and told him that, someone came and told him and said, "Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah hath prevailed." And so the Lion of the tribe of Judah, then, when John turns to see the Lion of the tribe of Judah, he does not see a lion, he sees a lamb. So the lion, even in Revelation chapter 5, verse 5, connotates Christ. And so what we see is that this mighty angel has divine attributes. The same description of Jesus in Revelation chapter 1 is the same description of this angel. He leads out a new exodus. So this mighty angel, we could say he is Jesus or functions with the authority of Jesus. And so whatever this movement is, it is not an accident, but a divine incident. Let's look at a couple of things. Revelation chapter 10, verse 2. "And he had in his hand a little book open." So this mighty angel functions in the office of Christ, or is Christ himself. "And he had in his hand a little book open. And he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot upon the earth." When we say that this book was open, it signifies that at one point it was done what? It was closed. And the proclamation of this message that he has in this book is so large that he can put one foot on land and another foot on the sea. Remember when God was giving Abraham that land, he told him, "Wherever your foot will step, I'll give it to you," showing authority. You remember also in Revelation chapter 13, we find a beast rising out of the sea from verse 1. And in verse 11, another one rising up from the land. So there's a beast that rises out of the sea and out of the land, which opposes God's people. But here, the angel sets its foot on the land and on the sea, showing control. And so whatever this is, this juxtaposition shows that the angel that comes with this mighty message neuters the work of the two beasts of Revelation 13. Its message is the antidote to receiving the mark of the beast. This angel, also, we are told he roars like when a lion roars. We'll look at that later. But verse 5, and the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven and swears by him that lives forever and ever. So he has in his hand a little book open. He stepped on the sea and on the earth, and he swears by the God of creation. And as we've seen, that points us back to the Sabbath. And what he says basically is, there should be time no longer. What does this all mean? Follow closely. So the book is open, connotating that it must have been closed at some point. Let's go back to Daniel chapter 12. It says, but you, O Daniel, verse 4, shut up the words and seal the book. Even to what time? The time of the end. So this book was to be sealed until the time of the end. And just to pique your interest, there are two things here. There's the time of the end and the end of time. Those two things are different. The time of the end, we are living in the time of the end, right? This is a period of time before the actual end comes. We usually say we are living in the times of the end, right? So the time of the end is not the same as the end of time. The end of time is, it's done. End of time. So this book was to be sealed until what time? The time of the end. So at the time of the end, it will be unsealed. Then I, Daniel, verse 5, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand towards heaven, and swore by him that lives forever and ever. You remember the same angel also swore by him that lives forever and ever, that it shall be for a time, times, and an half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, go away, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till what time? Time of the end. So the little book is a little prophetic book. You see, in the book of Daniel is a book of prophecies. But you see Daniel being told to seal his prophecies. In verse 7, he says, this person lifted both his hands to heaven and swear by him that lives forever, that is God, that it shall be for a time, times, and an half. This message that is in this book is a message to deal with time. You remember Revelation 10 verse 7 says, there shall be time no longer. Or in other translations like the NKJV, delay no longer. So we find in Revelation chapter 10, there's a prophetic book that is sealed, that is opened rather. In Daniel chapter 12, it was closed. So it was closed in Daniel chapter 12 and sealed in Revelation chapter 10. It is a message that has to do with time. Here it is for a time, times, and half a time. In Revelation chapter 10, we are told time no longer. And we also see that the angel swears with